and they call it cancer ghosting, and it's very common.
Big and nice, beautiful.
Which is awful anyway, but I feel like it's a little bit better if you can say, I have cancer and this is what we're doing about it.
Yeah, just a drink, you know. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so honored I have Hannah, my colleague, my favorite one. She's so talented with the chiropractor, which if you don't know, from Asian, they not quite understand what chiro do. Crack the bone. Crack the bone. For this video, we will have two parts. Part one, all about, women. If you go through breast cancer or any cancer, he's 29 now, but he goes through 3 cancer, almost 2.5 cancer in her whole life. And part two, you will know all secret behind chiropractor, this career, this job. Okay, let's start. So Hannah, I will go straight to stick you up.
Okay.
When your dad passed away, that was when you're 2 years old, right?
Yes.
So we'll see, you don't have much memory about your dad.
I don't know if what I can remember are memories, or if because I've been told so much, I've created these sort of memories in my head, which I'll take it no matter what it is. Yeah, there are some things that I do definitely remember, but I feel like a lot of it is made up from what people have told me.
So after that, you will have a rebuilt family, right? You got your sister, your new stepdad. Is that called stepdad? Are they good?
Yeah, amazing.
For sure, huh? Yeah. Amazing. We go straight to the point, huh? I may hurt you, but if you want to cry here. I got a big chest.
I'm good.
Yeah. So from how old you start find your first cancer?
So I was 19 when we found my first cancer.
What is that?
Which was bowel cancer.
Bowel cancer.
So I was supposed to get a checkup when I was 18 because that's what my dad died from. Was bowel cancer.
You got a genetic, yes.
But because I was 18, I didn't want to get a colonoscopy because I thought it was gross, which was really dumb looking back.
So dumb.
So I went and got checked when I was 19. Found
no reason, no feeling.
No
you just
no
symptoms.
Yeah, it was just a checkup, and we found
how
that
important is that?
Very. If you have family history, do the check even if it's gross.
I'm scared. My family gonna cancer as well. My grandma, my grandma gonna fight.
Have you been checked?
Checked this year. I checked.
Okay.
Well, how you check? Check what?
Yeah.
I got a blood test. This year I checked the liver. My dad for liver cancer. So I check everything okay.
Okay.
So is that what you did to check?
For the colonoscopy, that's a scope. So you go into the hospital, go under sedation, and they use a camera.
Not GP.
No. You have to be sedated, so knocked out.
Yes.
And they use a camera on a tube to go up and have a look. I went to my GP, or my mum organised most of it for me because I didn't want to do it, but I got a referral from the GP to go to a gastroenterologist for an appointment with him, and we did a history and everything, and then I was booked in with him shortly after to go into the hospital and have all of that, and then I was booked in with him shortly after to go through the results. So when we went through the results after the colonoscopy, I had a lot of polyps throughout my bowel, and one of them was nasty. So he sent me to Brisbane the next week, I think it was. And then I had a polypectomy. Yeah. So a specialist went in and removed the big polyp that was cancer. And it was less than 1 millimeter from growing out of the bowel and into my body. So we're lucky we caught it when we did.
Early stage, right?
Yeah. And then I was given the choice where that surgeon said either we can trust that by removing that polyp I've gotten all the cancer. He said I would never say to you 100% that I've got it all because there's always a risk that it's still there. He said, so you can either go by that, or we can take out that section of bowel to be sure, or we can remove your entire large bowel. I chose to have my entire large bowel removed because even though there was that one that was already cancer, there were polyps everywhere, and polyps can turn into cancer.
And even some part too small you cannot see from the skin.
Yeah. So I had my entire colon removed when I was 19. Which was 10 years ago now, but I didn't need any other treatment. It was just the surgery. I didn't need chemo or radiation or anything because it was just a surgical
How long for the surgery? Did you remember? 2 hours, 3 hours, whole day, right?
Well, I was asleep. So. It was, I know I went in the morning. This is a long time ago, I'm trying to remember. I went in the morning, and I think I remember waking up just after lunchtime maybe, but obviously with big surgeries and recovery, you'll wake up a couple of times, and when I actually officially woke up might have been when I came out. Yeah,
How many days in hospital?
It was supposed to be 7 days, I think, but I ended up in there for 9 because I couldn't keep food down. Just because everything was so messed up, my body just kept rejecting food. So once I started having food and keeping it down, they let me out.
Only 19, so it would be big shock for your mom, right?
Yes. I remember sitting in the room with her talking to the doctor to get the results, and when I'd woken up from the first surgery just to get the polyp taken out, they told me it had taken longer than expected, and so to me that meant it was something bad. So I started researching straight away and looking at my options and what it could look like moving forwards, because in my head I'm like, it's cancer, like it's bad.
In our culture, nobody think, you know, 19% can have cancer.
Yeah, especially bowel cancer, like that's an old person disease. But I was sitting with my mum and my godfather, who is my dad's
best friend,
brother.
Brother. Okay,
so they were in the room with me, and the doctor said it is cancer.
In front of you?
In front of me and mum.
In our culture, our doctor will say, "Oh, I got something to tell your family." My dad is the last one to know he's got liver cancer, but he can tell from everybody's face, right?
Yeah. They both started crying straight away, but I was like, but what are we going to do?
Well,
like,
good.
I've done all the research. What are we going to do now?
That's
hold
right.
it together. We've got stuff to do.
Yes.
After that, I had a little bit of a meltdown, and like I had to call my partner at the time and tell him.
Oh, you got a partner at that time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was in Brisbane, but that's when I was still living in Mackay. But yeah, so I had to make a few phone. My partner at the time came down. I think I had the surgery like 2 days after or something, so there wasn't a lot of time. I just went
we all thought Australia, you know, just slow, everything's slow, but I've come to, you know, very serious thing. They're very quick.
I'm very lucky in that I was on my parents' private health, and I'm lucky enough now to be able to afford private health. It's something that I'm very aware of, is that if you don't have private health in Australia,
you will wait.
It can slow things down quite a lot.
Wait until you die.
Well, sometimes the wait list is that long.
That's why.
And someone will be diagnosed with something, and they're like, "Yep, you have this, but you can't start treatment for 3 months because there's a wait list."
That's already late. Have private insurance. If your family got that, you know, I already bought it from last year. So good. That is your first cancer, huh? I know your family will support you for sure. Anyways, that's very good part. But for partner part, it's a little bit hard, right? For our culture, if we got a sick, even parents, long time in front of a sick person, you will feel a little bit, I don't want to do it, but I still want to help you, but I don't want it too close to you. Am I make sense?
Yes.
So that feeling, he support you, or, you know, give you some face?
He did support me, but at the same time, like, we were only 19, and it was just a surgery. I never got sick. I had the surgery, and then it was sort of done. Like, over the years, a lot of checkups to make sure there was nothing else growing there, because I do still have a bit of bowel left. Like, in terms of the bowel cancer stuff, it's been pretty crazy. I've got a really good doctor who takes very good care of me. It was easy compared to
breast cancer,
but even just what other people go through, like with their bowel cancer, mine was very, very easy.
The second cancer is coming, right?
Yes.
So how old is your second one?
I was 25.
So you go back to study?
Yeah, so I've finished my degree. I've been working for a couple of years. I just bought my house.
Wow!
So I've got no family history of breast cancer whatsoever. I went to the GP for something completely different when I was like years ago, and I had really big boobs, and I said something to her about it, like feeling lumpy or whatever, because they were big.
How you touch, like,
I always did my breast exams in the shower, because to me that was easiest. Like, I was already naked. What I'd studied and what I'd seen, like, just to check every month is a good idea anyways, just to make sure every month.
Okay.
Because women work on monthly cycles, and so that's when we get changes in tissue.
Period.
So if you check at the same time in your cycle or on the first day of each month, because then you get a good idea of what your breasts should feel like, or what's normal for you. So I always did my checks in the shower and never really felt anything. They were lumpy, but they were always lumpy.
Yeah, so, some people, they lumpy whole life.
Yeah. The only reason I ended up founding the cancer that I had was because of a boy that I was seeing at the time. Okay. I'm not going to go into details, but I'll say I'm very grateful that he's a boobs man.
Oh, okay.
So he was applying a lot of pressure to that area, and all of a sudden it hurt. Like someone got a knife and jammed it into me.
Oh, you feel hurt?
It was so painful. And I said, like, stop, something's not right. That's hurting. Something isn't right. So then I laid on my back, and we were feeling, and we could feel this lump. It was like golf ball sized lump. I've felt lumps before, but they've never been painful. So that was on a Friday. On the following Tuesday, I booked in with my GP and said, like, it's a lump, and I've always had lumps, but this is painful. Like, you have to put a lot of pressure, but it's painful. And she said, normally I'd say not to worry about it, but because of your history with cancer, I'll send you off to get some imaging done. So then that was the Tuesday. On the Thursday, I went in for an ultrasound of just my left breast. She found something on the imaging. This was the sonographer. Yep, so with the jelly and all that. And she said, I'm going to go get the radiologist to have a look at it. Worst case scenario, we might need a biopsy. And my mum was there with me, and I thought, okay, fine. So the radiologist came in and he said, right, we're going to need a biopsy done.
Yeah.
So follow me. So I went around, and it's a really fine needle that they just inject and
straight way to do that.
Straight
you don't
away.
need to book for another time.
No.
Okay.
So they got me straight.
Is that hurt? Do you need a numb?
Like it hurt, but it was just a needle.
Yeah.
So it was fine.
From where? From the side of the.
So they went. If my boobs are like here, they went in like from the side.
Oh, side,
like
not a
nipple
nipple.
Kind of thing.
Okay.
No, not nipple.
Okay.
So they took a biopsy of that, and he said, worst case scenario, we'll need a core sample biopsy. And so they checked the first biopsy that they took, and then he came back in and said, we need a core sample.
Oh, okay.
For that one, they did give me local anaesthetic to numb it because it's this big fat
same day.
Same day. And they inject it, they poke it in, and then they push a button, and it makes this thing come out and grab like a chunk of tissue. It was painful.
Yeah.
Like I've had a lot of painful things happen, but that hurt, and like I was bruised. So they took that. This is the Thursday afternoon, and they put a rush on my results because I was stressed. And then it was the Friday afternoon. The GP called me while I was at work. I was in the back room at work, and she called and said that we got your results back. Can you come into the clinic? And I said, no, I'm at work. Can you just tell me right now? And she said, oh, we don't like to do it on the phone. And so I'm like, I already know what it is. Just tell me.
Yes.
And she said, well, it is cancer, and it's a bad one. And I'd already sort of hyped myself up for it's going to be cancer. So when she said that, I'm like, okay, what now? Tell me what to do. Do I need to make an appointment? Blah, blah, blah. She said that she'd already sent through a specialist referral to a like breast surgeon for me to talk to. That was it from there. So I went into the specialist the next week, met my oncologist the next week, and then just sort of started the ball rolling for treatment.
Oh my God. You know, in Australia, if you get a phone from doctor, it already means something bad. Because if you are okay, no news. They will not call you until you remember, book again. They will say, oh, you okay? But otherwise, if they call you, that means something, right?
Yeah. I cried. I sort of collapsed and cried. Because I was at work, my practice manager there called my parents. So my parents came into work and took me home to their house. And I just sort of hung out there for a bit, and we told my little brother. But didn't tell any of the rest of my siblings.
Little brother, not older brother.
No, I'm the oldest.
So you are the only one from a dad?
No, there are two of us.
You was two, so he
wasn't born when Dad died. So my brother was born a month after my dad passed away. So it was the worst timing.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we told him, and he was old enough to understand. The other three were a bit young. So we didn't tell them straight away. It was more, we didn't tell the extended family until there was a plan. Because it's one thing to just rock up and say, I have cancer, and which is awful anyway, but I feel like it's a little bit better if you can say, I have cancer and this is what we're doing about it.
Yeah.
So we waited till we had a plan before we told.
Well, you are the one being more stronger than anybody else, right?
I don't say strong, I say resilient, because it's not strong to do what you have to do, kind of thing. I didn't have a choice. I had cancer. I don't get a choice about whether or not I get to be strong. I just have to do it. So I say resilient rather than strong.
Because my family, my grandma got 5 kids. 4 died for cancer. So my dad is the only one survived from cancer. He gonna change his liver. Lucky he's find it early, but it's not because any symptoms. Nothing, because he eat a shrimp, and the shrimp cut his stomach. So he go to hospital. That's why he checked. Otherwise,
otherwise wouldn't have found it.
Wouldn't find it. He's scared of go to hospital to check it, because in his mind, if I don't go to hospital, I have no sick. I have no illness at all.
It's very common. Especially in men.
In men, especially in mid-aged Asian men. I was 19, 20. So me and my mom will make a decision. What should we do? Go to which hospital to do? And he's broken. He's totally broken. He's angry with everyone. He reaction. He feel the life is not fair, and I hate everybody. I may be too young, too naive to have a good reaction, but at that age, I don't know what is
That's
good
how you
reaction.
deal with it.
Yeah. I don't know how. What is the?
I was definitely very angry. It's not fair.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Because I was at my parents' house, and then I went and got in my car, and drove very fast for a long way.
Dangerous.
Dangerous. Don't do that.
Okay.
But I just had this feeling of like I was going to explode, and I had to get out and go somewhere. I went to see another family member who is my uncle, who I'm very, very close to. Not the one.
Not the godfather.
Oh. Yeah, I just went straight to him, and he got it more than my immediate family did. Because my family were all.
What is the more mean?
Like my mum and my stepdad and my brother were all like, oh, like they were more sad. Whereas when I told my uncle, he just sort of went, fuck, like.
Give you the right reaction, right? Good, that's the right one.
That made not that it made me feel better, but it felt more proactive than just being sad. Like I felt like I had to do something. So I went to my uncle.
Fight.
Yeah.
Girl, fight.
Yeah.
How you solve the problem?
So I met my oncologist, and he said active treatment was going to be about 6 months. I was going to do chemo first and then surgery.
At that time you already know you're going to just have surgery.
So that was decided.
That's the only
very
way.
Early on.
No other option.
He did talk about if we could just cut the cancer out, but with the biopsy that we did, and then we did more scans, we actually found I'd grown 2 cancers at the same time, completely different, right next to each other.
Oh my God.
So the likelihood of then me growing more cancers was very, very high because I've already grown 2 kind of thing. So we made the choice then that we weren't just going to cut out the cancers that were there because I was probably going to grow another one and just to take everything off. So I started my first round of chemo on the 1st of April in 2021 and I did 4 rounds and they were 3 weeks apart. This is before I started the treatment. I tried to argue that I could still work because I still wanted to work. I love my job. My job is everything.
Sometimes they support you, mentally support you as well, right? Yeah.
But he said no, that I wasn't allowed to. And once I started treatment, I understood why. Because mentally I was not there. The chemo does a lot of physical things. Like I lost my hair, I had sores in my mouth, I couldn't taste anything, I couldn't smell, my vision went blurry, I had like rashes.
Vision went blurry, you even can't not drive, right?
It would only be blurry for a couple of days after the infusion, after the medication. So there's all like the physical effects, but then also mentally, like my memory was terrible. I had really bad brain fog, so I'd like struggled to
remember,
function,
function.
much. I couldn't get jokes.
Oh
like my sense of humor went away, which for me is a big deal.
Big deal.
Like my family commented to me after I finished the treatment and my brain started coming back. Like my mum made a comment that like, oh, you're back. Because I started laughing at things again. I started understanding.
How the surgery? Is that pan or, what did what do? Can you feel or is it?
So I'll backtrack a little bit because I finished chemo at the start of June.
Yeah.
And then on the 28th of June, I had the surgery. So I had a double mastectomy, so both boobs gone. And we took all my lymph nodes out of this arm. So that's why I'm
you kind of feel
lymphedema on that one. In surgery, I was in hospital for 5 days.
Oh, just 5 days.
It's meant to be 7, but usually women who get this surgery are like over 50.
Yeah.
Because it's not a young person disease. So
yes.
I healed really quickly. There was almost no pain at the surgery site. The worst thing was the surgical drain. So these little tubes. I had one on each side. And tubes that go in to help all the fluid.
Blood fluids, yeah. 1 day, 2 days?
Oh, no, like nearly 2 weeks.
Oh, even horrible. You go home?
Yeah, so I had to take them home with me. I had
Shower?
to carry these little bags to hold the... It was horrible. So when they came out, it was such a relief. But virtually no pain.
Okay.
That one's from my portacath. So when you have chemo or infusions, it used to just be through a vein in the arm, but that's really bad for the veins. So they put a device in my chest that, like about that big, and it's got like a squishy surface that goes into a chamber that has a lead that goes into your vein. So rather than having a needle in my arm every time, they'd put a needle in that, in my chest.
Camel 3 months,
it was in there for about a year. They don't usually take them out so soon, but I developed a blood clot on mine, so we wanted to get it out before the blood clot went anywhere.
So your family will drive you there, drive you here, and cook for you, prepare for your life, functional life, right?
Yeah, it took me to appointments. My grandma and my nana both stocked my freezer with meals, so that I didn't have to cook, which was really lovely.
Yeah. Like, oh wow. For us, we you know, my dad, everyone until they pass away, my grandma don't know.
Oh.
Because my grandma is gonna, lose a little bit, not very strong, but we can cheat her. She always asks, "Where's my, second son?" I say, "Oh, just go to another country." So then she will, and maybe 2 months later she will ask again. Or tell, that's not healthy. So in your family or in your culture, you will let everybody know.
We let everyone know.
Yeah, good.
Grandma would come over and clean the house for me every week. My granddad would come and do the gardens. So I had a really good support system.
As your point, if you see back, as a person who got a cancer, what do you want the reaction from them? Because I know if we needed time to hug each other and cry, but that cannot last. It cannot help anything.
So obviously there's the sad time, but the way that I dealt with it a lot, and my family deals with it, is with really dark humor. Like we just try and make jokes
dark humor, yes,
as much as we can, because it's just shit.
Yes.
And that's all it is. It's not like I can't stand the saying everything happens for a reason. I hate it because there's no reason good enough that my dad had to die when I was 2.
Why is it so young?
That my brother never got to meet his dad. That I keep getting cancer. There is no reason good enough for any of that. So we try and make light of it as much as we can by making jokes about it. Like when I was first diagnosed, one of my patients at the time had breast cancer, and so I spoke to her about it as well. She didn't mean it in a nasty way, but she said, "You're going to lose your friends." And I said, "No, I won't. Like I've got amazing friends. Not family, friends."
Oh, friends.
And I lost a lot of friends. A lot, who when I was first diagnosed, they all said, "Yeah, let us know if you need anything, we'll be there for you." And then when I needed them, gone.
I think if my not very close friend, I mean if friend, like some friend, like to be honest, like
these
you
are
and
my
me.
best friends.
Oh my God! Like teach me. Okay, what is your friend? You ask for your friend to do?
I just wanted to spend time with people because I was just or come over and watch a movie with me, or just spend time, because it's so isolating because your immune system's weakened. You can't go out and do things. So you just want to chill. But I understand that it's very hard to watch someone you care about.
Yeah, true.
And it's actually very, very common. Once it happened to me, I looked it up, and they call it cancer ghosting, and it's very common to distance yourself from a friend who has cancer because you can't deal with it, which is horrible. But I feel like cancer ghosting, I feel like I lost the friends who were never supposed to be there, and I found true friends who were willing to stick it out no matter what. A couple of the friends who I did lose, like if I ever get married, they would have been my bridesmaids kind of thing, and they left very early on. Whereas I've made new friends since then who I don't know how to put it nicely. They've got stronger character, where if something were to happen, we would be there for each other because they've been through it with me. I know I'd be able to do it for them, and I feel like it's a much stronger bond because it's already happened, kind of thing. And they didn't just leave when it got tough. They stuck it out and supported me and came and hung out. And so like my best friend in Mackay, she and I have a relationship where like we still chat, like like on Snapchat and things like that most days. And it's just very casual, but when we see each other, it's like no time has passed. So I think because especially after going through cancer treatment and losing those friends that I thought were my forever friends, I'm a lot more picky about who I let into my life now. And if I can tell that the kind of friendship that I'm being offered is fake or flimsy or like a fair weather friend kind of thing, I'm not interested in it. Whereas if I have a real connection with someone and that connection is more important than any distance, that's my person.
Yeah. Well, thank you to let me know. Thank you to teach everyone. Because if your friend got that one, don't cancer ghost them. Just to knock the door, drink, put movie. Even don't talk about cancer. Even if you don't want to talk, don't talk.
Show up.
Just to show up. Just to show up.
Let them know that you're there.
Drink. Just to drink. You're not allowed to drink, right? When that time. I mean,
you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to.
I did.
After that, you were just at 25. Then you fix everything, like in half year. We should say you half year. You back to yourself. You back to Hannah.
Yes, so I got to go back to work after 6 months, and I was counting down. Finally got to go back to work. I was on limited hours, so I was only doing like 15 hours a week or something like that because I was still very tired. I was still in treatment, but it wasn't considered active treatment. So I was still getting medication and having symptoms and all the rest, but I could function well enough to go to work.
I saw your Facebook. Before you have the surgery, the cancer, you got the 3D clay, you know. We did the plaster cast. Is that real one? Your real one, right?
Yeah.
Your real boobs.
Yeah.
So that is very big. Okay.
Yeah.
That's truly very big.
Yes.
Okay. You know that 3D. How much for that? Do you remember?
Oh, I did it myself. My cousin came to help and a friend.
Cousin?
We did like a photo shoot day.
Oh. Okay.
So a friend of mine is a photographer. She took a bunch of photos, and my cousin, who I'm quite close with, and the guy who found the cancer, we just took a bunch of photos and did the cast, and it was really lovely.
That's like a big ceremony. Like you're so good. So who gave you the idea? You or your friends? Or
it was the photographer. She messaged me in, like, just out of the blue and said, like, I'm so sorry this is all happening to you. I wanted to offer you to do a photo shoot, and then she started sending through ideas of what she wanted it to look like, and then doing the plaster cast and all of this. So because I was in chemo at the moment, so my brain wasn't there, so I just did what she told me to do, pretty much.
Big and nice, beautiful. That's very perfect idea to have it when you got this, because you will not have it anymore.
Yeah. I feel weird now. Sometimes I wear fake boobs.
Really?
With certain outfits. Like if the outfit looks weird without boobs, and I'll put fake ones on.
Wow, you go through too much. Oh my god, completely. you smile and laughing to say that, but it's truly, if people go through that, you know how strong she is. Your favorite book?
My favourite book? The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini. They're all up there. The big fat ones stacked this way.
Yes.
I reread them every year.
E-reader or paper book? Both. Where your family originally come from?
So all my family's in Mackay, up north.
They're Australia. I mean England.
I'm getting there. But my dad's side of the family, so the Pacers came over from Italy.
Yes.
There's a big like Italy book of Mackay, like the first people like settled in Mackay from Italy and all that. And my mum's side of the family is like English, German, like that kind of.
Mix.
Yeah.
Warm up. Is that a good?
Yeah,
Thank you.